What's up guys, Natural Aesthetics TV. Today I'm going to be talking about diet. A few people have been asking me about what I did diet wise leading up to my show, so I'm going to go over that now. Okay. Now the first thing you need to work out is your BMR, okay, basal metabolic rate. There are loads of calculators out there, especially online, that can provide you with this information. The one I like to use is Muscle and Strength. This also has the Harris-Benedict formula included. The Harris-Benedict formula is just a multiplier. It takes into account your exercise level. So being a personal trainer, and especially leading up to a show, I was doing a lot of cardio and posing. I was probably on the highest level, but it just depends on your activity. But this can affect your BMR greatly. So mine was about 3,750. Now that's the calories you need on a daily basis, every single day, to maintain the weight that you currently are. So I was 86 kilos. Okay, before I started cutting, or there or thereabouts. So 3,750 calories to sustain a weight of 86 kilos. Now, obviously I was cutting, so I needed to go underneath this level. Okay. Now to lose about a pound of fat mass a week, okay, that's about a 3,500 calorie deficit that you need. So divide that by 7, you get 500. So 3,750 minus 500 is 3,250. So taking into account I wanted to lose about a pound of fat to start out with, okay, on my diet, I was looking at 3,250 kcal every day. I started my diet early, well over 20 weeks. My diet is for near enough 24 weeks. The reasons behind this being the optimum diet is to get to the condition that you want, the level of body fat that you want, with no loss of muscle mass. Okay, that's the perfect diet. If you're trying to get as close to that as possible, and you do that by starting slowly, rather than sort of crash dieting over 6 weeks. I dieted to more or less the same condition last year in 6 weeks, and I can tell you I lost a lot of muscle. So that's why I used a longer approach this year. So, okay, a pound of fat a month, a week, on this level. I continued to do this for a good few weeks, if not first couple of months, to be honest, and I steadily lost a pound per week. However, at some point or another, you will slow down. Okay, your weight loss will slow down, and sometimes it will stall completely. You need to get things moving again. The reason why it slows down and stalls is simple. Basically, your BMR is lowered. So let's say you're 86 kilos and your calories are 3,750. Okay. I've gone down to 3,250 calories, so I'm dropping a pound a week. So in 2 months I've dropped 8 pounds. Okay, so I'm no longer 86 kilos, I'm say 82, 83 kilos. That then affects my BMR. My BMR is no longer this number. Okay, it's example 3.3 or 3.4. So instead of a 500 calorie difference between these two here, so instead of a pound of fat loss a week, the calorie deficit is not great enough to produce that weight loss, and in some cases the BMR can go as low as the calories you're intaking, so you'll stay the same. Okay, you'll flatline. Okay, so what you need to do then is go on a refeed day. A refeed day is simply a day where you eat the same amount that you would do if you're eating your BMR, the original BMR at 86 kilos, for example. So you go back up to 3,750, and these extra calories for me came exclusively from carbohydrates, nothing else. Now this does a couple of things. Obviously it provides you with motivation for the next couple of days of training. You feel stronger, you feel more energetic, you feel fuller, your muscles look better, you feel more vascular. It all feels good. And secondly, it stops your metabolism from dropping and constantly dropping. You're tricking your body, and it's not going to drop as fast if you include the refeed days. Then after the refeed days, what I would do, I would either go back to the same level down here, or I would drop a little bit further. Okay, and I'll perhaps go to 3000 kcal. So then again I'm increasing that calorie deficit, so that I produce more weight loss. Okay, so it's back up to 500 calories. And you basically keep doing that for as long as you can. Obviously, as the weeks go by, you add cardio, okay, which again increases your BMR, making that deficit greater. So in an ideal world, you want to start your cardio early so that you can eat more. Okay, if you do no cardio, then you have to eat less. Okay, that's my thinking. Okay, now what I'm going to explain is how I split my food up into carbs, protein and fats. So I started off with 3,250 kcal. Now I used 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Okay. One gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for me, I was about 188 pounds, 190 pounds. We'll call it 190. 190 grams of protein. Okay. Next up, you work out your fat. It's completely up to you, depending on sort of what level you're at, depending on how far on in your diet, how lean you are. It's completely up to you. I started my diet at 15%, but I did go as low as, say, maybe 10%. So to work that out, you work out the percentage of your overall calories in. Okay. So I'm going on the calculator. I'm going to do it 15 to start with. That's what I started out. 15 times 3,250 equals times by 100 equals. Oh, I've done that wrong. Hang on. I'm having a dippy moment. 15 times 3,250 equals divide by 100. Okay. So what's that? 487.5. Okay, so that's the calories of fat. 487.5. So then there's 9 calories in a gram of fat. So you divide that by 9 to find out your grams of fat. Just go back up here. Divide by 9 equals 54.1. That was about what I was having. It's about right. 54.1 g of fat. So we've got protein reading here, fat there. 190 grams, 54 grams. And then basically the rest is your carb intake. Okay, so we know this is your calories for fat. Circle that. Times 190 by 4, because there's 4 calories per gram of carbs, protein and carbs. Sorry. 190 times by 4 equals 760. 760 kcal. And then we plus those two together. Okay, 487 plus 760 equals 1247. 1247 kcal. And then that's the total kcal for your fat and protein. So then you minus that from your total kcal count. So 3250 minus 1247 equals 2003. And then you divide that by 4. As I said before, there's 4 calories in a gram of carbs. 2003 divided by 4 equals 500. 500 grams of carbs. So 500 grams of carbs, 54.1 grams of fat, 190 grams of protein. That's more or less how I started my competition prep. Okay, now I'm going to explain how I tapered those calories. So as I mentioned before, the weight loss isn't really linear. There are sort of ups and downs. There are times when it stops or slows down, and you need to adjust your calories to get out of those lows in weight loss. So I'll do a little graph here. Carbs, protein and fat. Obviously carbs is way up here at 500 grams. Starts off there, protein starts there, moderate, and fat is low. Last year, like I said, I got down to sort of more or less the same leanness, but I did it on low carbs, and at the end I did no carbs. I'll never diet like that again, never. I feel a lot fuller, a lot better when my carbs are higher. Just taking it down over a long period of time and keeping my fats a lot lower. Okay, protein remains pretty much moderate the whole way through. So what I did when I started to slow down, I dropped carbs down to about 450 or so, 430, and protein upped a little bit to about 220. Fats stayed the same. Okay. Again, I continued this for a few weeks, and when it slowed down again, I dropped my carbs down to about 390. Protein stayed at 220. Okay, fat stayed the same. I then started dropping my carbs and fat. Okay, I went down to about, say, 350 or so, and my fat went down to about 45. Protein remained 220. Okay, so bearing in mind this is all timelined. You're constantly trying to keep in mind the actual date of the competition and pretty much peak exactly on time. You don't want to peak too far before, because then you have a tendency to sort of fill out a little bit too much if you're overly on the carbs. So from then on, yeah, carbs were about 350. I then dropped down to about 325 was the lowest I went, the absolute lowest. Protein stayed at 220, and fats went down to about 35, so they're way down here. Okay, and then I didn't drop anything, just fat. So protein, carbs remained the same, and fat went down to the very lowest at 25, so it's way down here. And that was the lowest that I went. So I was on about 2,500 calories, I think. By the end of my contest prep, that was in just before the last week. I think sort of the first few days of the last week of my prep. And then a few days before, about 3 days before, protein remained the same, fat remained the same. I started upping my carbs moderately. I think it was on Thursday. The show was on Sunday. I moderately increased on Thursday, very slightly, by about 50 grams. Friday, again, moderately, about 50 grams. And Saturday, they went right up over sort of 450. Protein and fats were the same. On Friday, sorry, I had a little bit of extra fat, only 5 or 10 grams. And then on the day of the show, I had 400 grams carbs before I competed in the first call-outs at 12 o'clock. I must have had maybe 600 or so grams of carbs and a shitload of fat as well before my routine at about 4 or 5 o'clock. So that was a lot of food on the last day. But I felt I filled out pretty well. I didn't overspill too much. I just didn't quite get lean enough. So if I were to do the diet again next year, which I will be doing, I would incorporate cardio earlier. Let's say I started doing more cardio around here at the beginning, rather than sort of starting maybe here. I did cardio, but what I mean by like proper cardio, sort of 3, 4, 5 times a week. I was maybe doing 2 or 3 sessions here and there. The first few weeks, relying on more on my diet. I'll probably start my cardio here regularly, sort of near enough every day, rather than say here. I think food-wise, I'll probably be eating more. Obviously, hopefully, be a little bit heavier, but I won't really be changing much. I'll go on very low fats again. Protein will remain the same, roughly. Carbs will be a little bit higher. I won't really drop any lower than say 350 next year. I think that'll be pretty much where I want to be. So now I'm going to talk about how I'm bulking. Okay, so we go back to this sheet here, and you can see my BMR up there is 3750 at 86 kilos. Now if I continue to eat that amount at the moment, I will grow and add weight until I'm roughly 86 kilos, theoretically. I'm about 82 now. When I finished my show I was about 75 and a half, around 76. So yeah, but I want to go above and beyond that. I want to get up to probably 92, I think, by Christmas, January. I really want to try and add on a fair amount of weight. So again, it works in the same way. I have to go over this number to add weight, 250 calories. So that leaves me at about 4,000. I'm actually on 4,100 right now. I'm actually overeating by quite some margin. The thing with the bulk is, as long as you're getting the calories, it doesn't really matter. There's no timeline, there's no end date where you have to be in shape by. If you gain weight too quick, then just cut your calories back. If you don't like the way you're looking, if you're too fat, cut your calories back. Likewise, if you're not gaining weight fast enough, put the calories up. Go up to 4.3, 4.4. Just judge it on how you look, how you feel, how much weight you're putting on. If you're not getting strong enough, quick enough, add more calories. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Just another thing, guys. I'm on 570 grams of carbs now, 220 grams of protein, and about 90 grams of fat, so it's gone way up. And I'll probably continue to do that for a good month and then see what happens, and maybe increase that a little bit more. We'll see what happens with that. I'm probably gaining about a kilo a week now, so I'm gaining pretty fast. When I get up to about 86, it'll probably slow down a little bit. Okay guys, hope that was informative, not too complicated, not too boring. Hope you learned a little bit. If you've got any questions, just give me an email. Cheers guys.